I lied. I'm going to be doing some testing, actually, while I have some time. I'm going to see which connection works better. So I have this. And we also have... Yeah, cool. Kill yourself. So if I... Okay. I don't know if this one's better, but... Okay. I think I might have been connected to the wrong internet thing. I don't know. Okay. I think it's relatively stable. I say that, and then my bitrate is going to crash to like 0. Retarded. Retarded bitch. Retarded stupid cunt bitch. That's for my internet, by the way, not anybody watching that might be a retarded cunty bitch. Okay. I was trying to explain it earlier. Before this retarded cunty bitch cut me out. But I think I only got through this quote here. I am monetized, sweaty. I pay myself, bitch. Then I did this, and then I did this. So I think it was on this paragraph. Which, this is super, super, super informal. But I was just going through giving my brief summary of the paragraph. And it's not like an actual exact retelling of it. Obviously, it's phrased in a way that's kind of biased. The second paragraph poorly summarizes the history of American settlements. So it's very personalized. I don't know if that matters or not, but through each of them I have the claims that are made and why it's like complete bullshit, basically. This one is just different claims and then diving into those claims and everything like that. So then I was gonna start on this one here. What would I do? This? What the fuck? What did I do? No, go away. Go away. Can I just collapse it like this? Oh, nice one. Nice. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Whatever. Whatever. Wait, what if I collapse it now? Okay, wait. Okay, nice. Okay. I might turn up the audio a little bit. I want generic, like soul music. We could drive along an ocean reflecting the sun, or make a bed of green atop a wide open sea. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm just fucked anytime I look anything up. It went from like 2000, is it kilobytes, kilobits, kbps, to like 200 as soon as I started looking up a new search on Spotify. Let me know if the music's too loud. Our mission is a hard reset on the nation we see today, a return to the traditions and virtues of our forefathers. The same forefathers? Does he mean the pre-Columbian forefathers, or the forefathers of our nation? The same spirit that urged our ancestors onward to create this nation will once again be brought to light, and a new America will be built within its current, dilapidated, shameful iteration. Generation after generation lived in war and strife so that their descendants may know peace. It was their duty to give their lives in such a way. The torch is now passed to our generation, and it is our duty to make their sacrifices mean something. Okay, dude, just say like boys or something, I don't know. Okay, so first, I don't remember, is this how I did it originally? I feel like a lot of nationalism is due to ego and general immaturity that hasn't been dealt with, which manifests itself into nationalism. Probably. I mean, that's shit. Okay, I'll ask Spotify to turn it down 10%. Okay. I think that's probably true. Because the same people that are speaking about their forefathers and how they have to live through such war and strife so that we may know peace. Like, do you think you're on the same level as the forefathers, Logup? Do you think you're on any sort of equal footing when the majority of your bloodline is just inbred, disgusting fucks that hide out in the Appalachian Mountains in the way that you think like Muslims hide out in the Middle East? Like, you're nowhere near these like 19-year-olds that were like founding our country. You're just sit down. Yeah, okay. Third paragraph. Ignore my typing, by the way. That's where, oh yeah, the complete deism treatment of the founding fathers is so unnerving. Those dudes were educated and open-minded. Yeah, exactly, which is the reason why they have this entire foundation that they seemingly oppose to now. Once again, republics are not mutually exclusive to democracies. Like, they can coincide with one another. Doesn't mean that they're completely separate ideas. And it's retarded to pretend that they are. Yeah, and when I was covering this last night, they were... they mentioned the pre-Columbian forefathers leaving their European homes. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Is that like... Do they know what it means? Are they using it in a way that they think is proper? Or... I don't know. It's a hard reset on the nation that we see today. A return to traditions and virtues of our forefathers. The same spirit that urged our ancestors. What do you mean the same spirit, too? Like... this one I'm kind of just like roughly memeing on. So much talk about founding fathers. These dudes need a father figure. Yeah, I was gonna meme, but it kind of is ironic, where they talk about the deterioration of our culture today, and the types of people that we allow in our country, and how it's due to the lack of father figures, and just like no respect for our country or our heritage or why the country was founded. But it's like, you guys were probably physically abused by your fathers, or they just weren't there, and now you are white nationalists that are trying to take the credit of genuine entrepreneurs and innovators of this country to just be like, to wear masks and talk about how some people are like too brown for you, I guess. Like, do you really think that's the same? I don't know. It's so irritating when people don't understand how difficult it was to start a little country. The Articles of Confederation and the debates with the Federalist Papers, all that was just memes. Yeah. Imagine having these debates when you're founding a country. Or like the modern day equivalent of these debates. And then you have fucking dipshits coming up here talking about pre-Columbian forefathers in the context of preaching about how like pan-European identities are what built up this country and what the country was like centralized around. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's pathetic. At some point they even debated the idea of a presidency. Are you saying, what do you mean? when you say they debated the idea of a presidency. Frederick Douglass is also interesting for me. I find it, okay, hold on. I need to slow down. I have the Hassan cadence when I read. I find it interesting. He started off promoting peaceful measures, but then was forced to resort to violence when the state enforced violence. I bring him up because he questioned the idea of freedom to a slave. I don't know shit about Frederick Douglass. I've heard his name. And I think he's that sick-ass looking black dude that I see that has like that... It's like a black and white photo, and he has like that crazy fucking hair. Not crazy hair as in black people hair. I just mean crazy hair as in... It's not kept neatly. And by kept neatly, I don't mean the Eurocentric standards that we place on beauty and hair and all of these social conditionings and everything that black people have to abide by due to their ancestry and everything like that. I just mean it's messy. The Founding Fathers debated whether or not they should even have a president. Oh, yeah. Oh, but I was saying I'm kind of messier with this because I kind of addressed it in this other part here. So it's just kind of being reiterated. Also, it's like the most peaceful time in history. I don't know why. They proclaim that our forefathers... Is it F-O-R-E? Yeah, okay. Forefathers... You sacrificed... Okay, I think that's enough. I don't need to go on a whole spiel about it. It is really funny, though. It's like, what do you mean by peace? Like, was it peaceful when these people from Europe came over and raped and murdered and took over the lands of the Native Americans? Like, are they not entitled to that peace? Are they not entitled to that land? One of the things that they referenced in the second paragraph was talking about how to be an American is to be a descendant of conquerors, pioneers, visionaries, and explorers. It's like, does that not apply exactly to what the Native Americans were and how they were pre-Columbian era? When they're traveling to new territories, when they're traveling and establishing new sites to live in, when they're pillaging and murdering and conquering other like tribes and shit, like, does that not apply there? Like, what's the extent that you're okay with? Because by that definition, that means Native Americans are American. And they're pretty brown, a lot of them. Sounds like you wouldn't be okay with that, dipshit. Yeah, he definitely was cool. His recorded speech was great. The other funny thing about the Founding Fathers is that you had the French, a monarchy helping the Americans, a rebel group who wanted democracy based off Enlightenment ideals, so it was ironic. That was when Ben Franklin became a celebrity. He was representing the complete opposite of monarchy. Does tyranny describe an official, like, system? Like, is it just like a more malicious or evil kind of monarchy? Or what's like the meaningful distinction between those? Because when you reference monarchy, I know what you mean. And I don't know when people like these dumb fucks are talking about tyrants. I don't know if they're referencing monarchy or if it's essentially like a monarchy with a more malicious structure, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. Monarchy and tyranny. This is obviously AI. Take this with a grain of salt. Monarchy and tyranny, while both potentially featuring a single ruler, differ significantly in their legitimacy of exercise of power. A monarchy in its ideal form is a system where a hereditary ruler, king or queen, leads, often with established traditions and possibly constitutional limitations. Tyranny, on the other hand, is characterized by the arbitrary and oppressive rule of a single person, often seizing power. Okay. I was kind of right, minus the hereditary aspect of it, but tyrant is like a dictator if they're allowed to be based. Like dictators use populist rhetoric to help them. Tyrants. Okay. Interesting. I feel like I hear those words either interchanged often, or I might just interpret them as being interchangeable, so I just wanted to clarify that. But now, because you said fucking dictator, I feel like I have to make a distinction between that. So thanks. Dictator versus tyranny versus... Look at this fucking retarded answer on Reddit. No one's ever said that sentence before, by the way. Where is it? Let me find it. Let me find this piece of shit. Come on. Okay, I'll read that in a second. I thought this comment sounded interesting. Monarchy literally means single ruler from the Greek word archon. However, the term most nowadays for hereditary monarchy. Whatever, I want to find that piece of shit that said bloke. A dictatorship is just a bloke. A bloke with all the power. Yeah, fucking retard, get on my face. Okay. Monarchies could have ranged from good to very bad. It was usually very bad. It's more of a flawed system that was allowed for corruption, and people started to question it over time. I said monarchy just as... Okay. I think that makes sense. How you're using it, I mean. I just want to, when I'm reading this, I'm trying to contextualize it and maybe understand the terms better. Which I might just do like a stupid fucking definitions page or something so I can reference it and have that context to look back on. But I think that would kind of help me give context whether or not like the way I interpret it is misunderstood. Like, I looked at the pre-Columbian forefathers thing, and I don't know any context in which they would view that as applying to their own standard of what they would identify with as their forefathers, but... Well, to be fair, it does range totalitarianism. Okay, you guys need to stop saying more words. You throw me off. Okay, better to fight for something than to live for nothing. Between the third and fourth paragraph, there is a quote. George Patton. And I'm fully aware that they could be using quotes out of context, but feel as if they apply to them, and it's not necessarily meant for that context. But I think it's just funnier if they do give quotes, and it doesn't say, or it's not even in the context that it's referencing. So. We fight for something. I am fat fingering, I'm fat fingering, I'm fat fingering. Me being Cuban myself, I can identify that Castro wasn't nearly as bad as someone like Mao, but he was still notably bad. There's levels to dictators, and it's fascinating. Yeah. I have no academic background or history or anything like that to understand any of this properly, so I think it would be really interesting to have a base for, like, the only reason I'm looking into this is because there was a protest downtown in the city that I live in from these guys. So I thought it would be interesting to learn who they were, the things that they say, and then I can kind of use that context as a way to branch it out into other topics, and get like a general understanding of that. So like the mention of the pre-Columbian forefathers, or what pre-Columbia means, or how the colonizations came to be, or how they interacted with Native Americans, like that sort of stuff gives me like a branching off point to add context and understand it in this sort of format. Do I really have to use... Did he say this in a speech, or just randomly say that and nothing else? Encapsulates a profound philosophy that resonates with the essence of purpose and meaningful existence at its core. The statement emphasizes the importance of actively engaging in the pursuit of a cause. Okay. So I don't think that... I think this would still apply to what they're saying and using it for, so that's fine. It seems to make sense in this use of the quote. Let me do a tab here. When did he say this? $1944. Okay. Which is really funny, but I'll read those in just a second. Considering that it was supposedly part of 1944, or that was during a time of war against the Nazis. I think that's incredibly ironic, but fuck it, bro, it's your life. In my downtime, I'm gonna try and get a sound just for that. Fuck it, bro, it's your life. It's completely fine. Honestly, academic resources are fantastic, as I have had some very good history and political teachers. It really widens perspectives, and I wouldn't be as educated, but also I can send you articles I have saved on my computer. They're really good for reading. Okay, I don't know if you came here from the Discord, but if you know my account on the Discord, feel free to just DM me or something. But have fun, I think. Have fun with your aunt, maybe? I don't know. Can I say that? Can you say that? From within a society ruled by those who have become unable to foresee any horizons beyond themselves, ironic, our goal is to create a union of Americans building the future. This new generation of patriots will live with loyalties to a greater cause and a grand vision of the America that awaits their descendants. Okay. Before the paragraph. How do I, am I retarded? How do I spell this? Oh, okay. I am retarded. As an unforeseeable future. And due to this, we must fight to maintain a truly patriotic view of America, I should say. Okay. I said some things that I should never say. I broke your heart like someone did to mine, and now you won't love me for a second time. I don't know why I run away. I'll make you cry when I run away. Take me back, 'cause I wanna stay. Save your tears for to an that I'm much too late. 'Cause you deserve someone better. Save your tears for another day. Okay, I think. I should be stronger with my statements or my argumentation. I feel like I bitch out too much. I would say I would argue this. I'd argue. Okay, fuck you for one, bitch. to stand with the evolution of America. Despite ways in which I would disagree with directions of it. Rather than, okay, our national way of life faces complete annihilation as our culture and heritage are attacked from all sides. From the many individuals of our people, a collective will emerge, a network linking the faithful of our people together in strength and unity. Within these bounds, we will begin the creation of our grand vision. Politics have played a large part in destroying this nation, and it will not be politics that will save us. The state that governs us is wholly resistant to the change that is required to save the nation as it convulses and devours itself with unprecedented corruption. This nation once sought freedom from a tyrannical global power, and those who fought for liberty dedicated their efforts to the people they served, rather than the government that denied them a future. Fifth paragraph. Politics. They're basically saying that politics is an ineffective mean to achieving true peace and unity.
Sometimes I walk in the rain, 'cause ain't nobody gonna call my name. Midnight,
Our current state is corrupted. Is slipping back into tyrannical rule, which I agree now, potentially, but I don't know if they're referencing that or if they just mean generally, as long as like brown people are here. I also wonder, I don't know if I should include this here. When they say it's an attack from like all fronts and all sides, are they... I don't know, like... Hypothetically, if we brought the forefathers back from the past and asked them if they're okay with the direction this country is heading, would these people be okay with that? Like, what would their argument even be? Just like, oh yeah, they're just misguided. Or they're outdated. They don't understand the extent. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what even relevant thing I would put here. I'll just say they claim that their heritage is being attacked from all sides. Which, speaking of heritage, that the quote of heritage not hate is really ironic because they display the Confederate flags when they're protesting. And with all of this kind of ideology here, it's like it's not that they only want a Eurocentric country. It's like they would be okay with the extent of slavery, like, coming back. So from all sides.
To be cold with you, to keep warm by you, to be loved again by somebody new.
I think I'm mostly including this too, even though it's kind of like a petty thing that I'm saying here. And I understand it's kind of petty, but I think the point is to strip this whole thing of its logic. Because if they could see that this point doesn't even matter, then it just sounds like, oh, holy shit. It just sounds like their main contention is their feelings. And for the people that want to talk about a progressive and ideal society, like, do we really want to operate that on our feelings if that is probably what you consider the cause of the downfall to be, and the slip into tyrannical government is due to feelings of the uneducated population from multiculturalism and diversity? Like, how do you square that?
To be cold with you, to keep warm by you, to be loved again by somebody new. Freeze our butts in snow, wet your tongue in rain, feel the sun walk.
I would say would imply that there is something
To keep warm by you, to be loved again by somebody new. Freeze our butts in snow, wet your tongue in rain, feel the sun walk in, fall in love again.
what else? What was it? Politics? It will not be politics that saves us. Is a, what should I say, counterintuitive statement. Considering that it was politics that got us to this point in which they object. However, I don't know. What should I say here? They never give a clear definition. They never go on to define what point of time would be ideal for them and what point in time they are referencing. Why would they not just go to Europe and live there instead? the specification on desiring the country of America rather than Europe itself. It sounds like they just running white ethno-state. Is this a hyphen here? Ethno-state. Okay. Yeah, because like if they're not defining a point in time, because at any point in time I think you can find a contradiction that they would object to that carried throughout American history. So if those objections exist, and it is a defeater for their argument, then just go to Europe. Just go to Europe, little bro. They don't have the tyrannical government that Americans were trying to flee in the very beginning. So why not just go to Europe? And the issue that they would have with Europe is that they want an ideal particular place for themselves in their own country. So they don't want to leave, even though it would be more according to their ideals. But I don't know. Bitch. Okay. Our people have conquered injustice before, both within our lands and within ourselves. Tyranny wields new implements today, yet it bears the same ugly face. Americans are on the threshold of becoming a conquered people. No foreign state waved its banners on the halls of governance, yet it was our flag which grew foreign as the years passed. A new tyranny must be met with new resistance. Ouch. Becoming conquered, and that the American flag this is such a victim mentality. It's such, they're so fucking gay. I don't understand how they can LARP as these like masked patriots with like literal shields giving speeches and then just be the gayest fucking people possible. What do they mean by injustice domestically? Okay. Also, how is the... I'll say it's stronger. The American flag is not becoming foreign. It exists as a national identity everywhere. It's represented everywhere. And is understood everywhere. Do that, like, I wouldn't think that they have a country that is their ideal, right? Like, no other country? Because they probably think all of the European countries are cucked to multiculturalism and immigration and like refugees and shit, so I don't... No other country would have a flag anymore either.